Many of us, we live the life of indecision. We can't really decide what we want out of life. People who build wealth across the world learn how to decide what they need to do, when they need to do it, and how exactly they can get it done. Everything in life starts by you thinking, right? Like Brian Tracy said, that one of the most difficult aspects of life is thinking, trying to figure out what exactly you are interested in life, or what exactly it is that you want, that you need to decide. Learning the habit of deciding what you want to do means that you are intentional about that thing, and you've really decided that this is what I want to do before you go ahead to do it. In most cases also, even when we have decided some certain things because we are not sure of what actually we wanted, then we allow some other persons to influence our decisions. The type that cannot decide things for yourself, that other people have to always influence your decision or can easily change your decisions, then you are in trouble. Those decisions you are making right now, actually, you are either going to pay for it or the decisions will pay you. Please understand this. It's either you are going to be paying heavily for those decisions you are making today, or the decisions will pay you. If you don't understand, just look at yourself right now. Exactly, the decisions you've taken some days back is actually paying you now, or perhaps you are the one paying the decisions. This is one of the powerful quotes I've had today, and I've decided that I'm going to be sharing it with you. Today is the 28th of our live session here on Facebook, and if you are joining me for the first time, my name is Kabe. Just like you can see, we don't have lights here, but I had to provide. Of course, I'm very tired just the way you are looking at me right now, but this is a vow. I'm going to be doing this for 1,000 days, right? Today is already the 28th, almost a month. Congratulations to us. We are moving, right? Okay, let's go straight forward to the topic. Just like you've had the topic decisions, this has affected a lot of us. So many of us, we live the life of indecision. We can't really decide what we want out of life, and therefore we allow the life to choose for us, to decide for us whatever it is. And guess what? Anytime you are living life to decide for you, it only has little or nothing in store for you. That's the most annoying part of it, right? But for most of us, we don't know. We just walk through life without deciding exactly what we want, and then we allow life or circumstances to dictate to us what it is we want. Now, if you are still in that shoe, you need to pull yourself out of it, especially when you are interested in building wealth. People who build wealth across the world learn how to decide what they need to do, when they need to do it, and how exactly they can get it done. So let me give you a simple scenario so that you understand this. Everything in life starts by you thinking, right? Like Brian Tracy said, that one of the most difficult aspects of life is thinking, trying to figure out what exactly you are interested in life, or what exactly it is that you want, that you need to decide on, right? They come in form of just mere thoughts, and at times you form ideas from it, and then once those ideas come to you, it is now left for you to decide, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I don't want to do, or this is what I am not supposed to do. Then you discipline yourself. Then these thoughts, or in form of ideas, are now being transferred into what? Decisions. And once you get those decisions formed, then you begin to form the habit of doing that particular thing that you have decided on. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Victor. For me, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. So today we are looking at the topic of decision and how it actually affects your entire life, especially your finances. There are several aspects of this topic that might affect you in one way or the other, but most importantly, I am telling you today that if you are not the type that can decide exactly what you want and actually figuring out what exactly you need to do, then you have a problem. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Jake. Today we are looking at decision making and how it affects your life generally, and especially your finances. Now, I said earlier that once you start having these thoughts and then you decide that, okay, for example, perhaps there are a lot of things you've been doing over the days of your life that you didn't really take decisions that you want to do. You were not intentional about it. Like mostly Learning the habit of deciding what you want to do means that you are intentional about that thing and you've really decided that this is what I want to do before you go ahead to do it. Now, for many of us, we walk through life having less control about whatever we do, and in most cases we allow others to decide for us what we are supposed to be deciding and doing. And in most cases also, even when we have decided some certain things because we are not sure of what actually we wanted, then we allow some other persons to influence our decisions. And you found out that if you are the type that cannot decide things for yourself, that other people have to always influence your decision or can easily change your decisions, then you are in trouble. I don't know how many times I might need to repeat this, but you need to form that habit of really deciding what exactly it is that you want and then go for it. Perhaps you started your life where people decide for you, like your parents, to a large extent, of course, they are ahead of you. They gave birth to you, and your environment, the friends you have, the influence of people around you. So possibly a lot of things have go down your life. Perhaps you didn't decide on it, perhaps you love, perhaps you don't want to do. But what is more important is that either you are taking those decisions intentionally, or the society, your friends or your family take those decisions on your behalf. And the best of the decisions are the ones that you are able to take yourself. You know the reason why you are taking those decisions. And especially another part of it is that you always look at the consequences of your decisions. And that's why it is very important that before you decide to do something, you need to sit with yourself. Like I always tell myself, at times I have a meeting with myself. Thank you, Mr. Jake, for the fire you are putting. Yeah, thank you. And I think I am actually enjoying the conversation myself. Sometimes, before you decide something, you need to have a meeting with yourself. You sit down and ask questions. Ask your brain questions. Like I said, you have thoughts running through your mind every day you wake up. You have people suggesting to you what they think is good for you. But actually, the truth is there is an inner voice that you are supposed to listen to each time you want to decide something. And let me tell you, it is very important that before you arrive at any decision, you look at the pro and cons, like the consequences, the benefit of that decision, and in case you are able to put through that decision, what are the effects that is likely going to come after. Most of us don't think deeply. If you want to go into relationships, you think carefully. The person you are looking at, what is the character of the person, what's the habit, and what do you tend to benefit from having that relationship before you decide to actually embark on it. You want to decide to go into business, and as a matter of fact, just like I've said earlier, even if in relationship and you want it to lead it to the relationship to lead to marriage, you also want to be sure if really you are interested in getting married. You need to know the end goal, the outcome of that particular decision you are taking, and whatever you are going to be doing within that relationship, how it affects you. The same thing happens to when it comes to wealth creation. You want to decide to do a business today. First and foremost, you need to know what kind of business you want to do and how do you go about it, and when do you decide, what do you decide on, and what exactly are you supposed to be doing. All these decisions, you need to actually take it right. And sincerely, if you take those decisions right, then that is where the journey starts from. For most people, you actually probably procrastinate because of your inability to decide. I have seen a lot of people wallow in poverty, not because they don't have the ability to do what they want to do, but their inability to decide what they are supposed to be doing or what they ought to have done at the time they are supposed to do it. Opportunities are around you every day you wake up. When you walk around your society, there are things around you that you are supposed to be doing. There are actions you are supposed to be taking, but because you are unable to decide that this is what I want to do and this is when I am supposed to do it, you are likely never going to be doing it. As a matter of fact, do you know that if you don't decide things unconsciously, your mind will relax and you will never going to be acting towards doing that thing. You never see yourself doing that thing. But the moment you take that decision, wow, it looks like a vow. It looks like you already, like this, your body is wired to be able to think or will be forced to want to do that thing that you vow to do. Thank you for joining us. I saw some people coming into the session. Sorry, I'm doing it late today, and I think I love it because I'm seeing quite a few number of people that are watching me live. Please, if you are enjoying this session, you can type on the comment section so that we can interact. I think what I enjoy most is when people interact with me, when people ask me questions and I try to shed more light, right? That's one of the most interesting aspect of my teaching. But we are getting there. I know someday I will be having thousands and thousands of people watching me live, where we have this interaction business wise, and especially in terms of financial literacy and how you can do better. There's so much to share. Right, today we are talking about decisions and how it affects you. Perhaps there's this business idea you have, there's this wonderful information that you have that you're supposed to work on, but because once you sleep, you don't decide what you want to do, you don't decide how you want to do it, then you sleep and it died down. There's so many dreams that I've seen people talk about, and because of their inability to decide that, look, I need to do this at the time I am supposed to do it, because they are not taking some of those steps, then the dream died down. Let me tell you that the person you are today, if you are listening to me right now, understand that the person you are today was as a result of the choices and decisions you've made in the past. I don't know if I should repeat this. The person you are today was as a result of the decisions you made in the past, or I will say the decisions you were not able to make in the past. Whatever you see in your life that is going well for you or not going well for you, I want to tell you that in a large percentage, right, to a large extent, it depends on those decisions that you were able to make or not able to make that actually formed into the person you are today. And I am telling you again that your ability to be able to decide the things you are supposed to be doing right now will also amount to the person you become in the next 5, 10, 15 years of your life. So if you are listening to me right now, what is that particular thing? Perhaps you know better than me, but your inner voice, if you are listening carefully, and if you have time to always sit with yourself and talk to yourself like I've always done, this is just normal part of me. Back then, while I was growing up, if I see an adult person like sit, some of them literally even speak out. Like you hear them talk on their own, they will speak, right? It's funny to us as at that time. We don't understand why they are talking to themselves and what exactly they were doing, but that's form of meditation. In most cases, like Brian Tracy will always advise, and I now know the importance of that. Sometimes when I write out the things I want to do, I have to read it to myself again and again and again. I will read it loud so that it tells my thoughts. Now it helps to enhance my thinking pattern and also inform my subconscious mind that this is what you want actually, right? Sometimes when you read it to yourself repeatedly, it has a way of sticking into your mind and it helps better your decision making. So perhaps you are listening to me today and you really are even confused on what you want to do or what you are supposed to be doing in your life. I am telling you today that note it down, begin to read it to yourself, and that very first step that you are supposed to be taking action on, decide exactly what you want to start with and start immediately. Do you understand? That action part of it, what you need to start with and actually starting immediately is very, very necessary, and that forms part of your decision. Like I have told you, just look around your life and look at how far you've come. If you notice, you found out that the things you are able to do or the things you were not able to do, the opportunities you're able to take or not, actually in a lot of ways, whether you want to agree with it or not, forms part of who you are today. For so many of us, we have this way of relaxing, thinking that God is going to fix everything just like a miracle. You know, this kind of imaginative way of what we call wishful thinking. You are not deciding anything actually. You don't even know what you want. You're actually not deciding exactly nothing. But there's this mind that keep telling you that God will just have his way of doing it. Doing what? Even you yourself, you don't even decide what you want. You don't know what you want. But you have this feeling that God will do it when it's time. And some of you are fond of saying God's time is the best and all of that. So the questions I usually ask people is that if God's time is the best, now whose time are you using now? at this time that you are listening to me, whose time are you using? And at that time you are telling yourself that God's time is the best. Whose time are you actually using? Is it not God's time? So does it deny you from using it or taking action at that time? No. Now, so you find out that it's actually your decision making, because in a lot of ways God doesn't interact, or God doesn't stop you from taking some decisions. God doesn't stop you from making some choices of your own. You have a free will to a large extent, right? You have a free will, and you can go ahead to take those decisions. You can make those choices and then go after it. So when you are not doing this, you have no right to say that it is God that is not blessing you. Almost all the things you need to be successful, God has already done it for you. You just need to know how to use it, how to decide, like we are telling you today. In fact, like I always tell people, some of the things I'm exposing to you is actually where money hides. You know, I always tell you about money hides in some certain places. Now, decision making, there is huge amount of money that is hiding in that particular decision that you were not taking, that you are not still taking. That even after listening to this video, you have that thing in your mind that you are not actually trying to what? Decide on it and then cut it short, go after it and get it done. Now, most of the successful people that I've seen, they have a way of actually deciding what they want right from the start. Exactly what they want right from the start. They have decided that this is what I want. For you, you probably don't even know what you want. And probably it is clear to you now that you know what you want, but you are not going after it. You didn't decide to start. You keep postponing, you keep procrastinating. And actually, that's more or less like the opposite of deciding. Because once you cannot decide, you need to keep it for the next day. So I found out that sometimes it might not be clear. The picture might not be clear. Right? You might be afraid of taking that decision. You might feel it's not the right time. See, the best right time is now. Don't get deceived. The best right time to start is just as you are listening to me. Tell yourself that that thing I want to do, that business I want to start, that journey you want to embark on, right? That whatever thing you want to learn, you can get started right now. Nothing actually stop you. It's just a matter of you are not deciding. When I decided that I want to be doing 1000 days appearance live on video, on Facebook, just look at it today. Today is the 28th. That was just a decision. I decided. And do you know, funny enough, before now, I keep looking at, okay, I want to be making videos once in a week. I want to be doing this. I can't edit. I keep looking for excuses. There is not always light. If I want to go live online, just like you are seeing me, you can see because I have vowed that I will do this, whether there is provision or not, whether I have a mic or not, whether I'm ready. I was even thinking like I need to have a studio and all of that, but no, at least I can start with this phone that I have, and you are listening to me right now. You can see. So because of my inability to decide that this is what I actually wanted to do, it was looking like there are obstacles stopping me, but it was actually my inability to decide. Thank you, Abdul Ghani Mukhtar, for joining our live session, right? So now what am I saying in essence? Just look at your life. And I'm telling you, if you are not even picking anything out of this conversation, pick it from me that those decisions you are not making right now will affect you in the next 5-10 years of your life. Because it is when you actually decide that this is what I want and decide to go after it, decide to go get it, decide to go learn it, that is what we actually account for your future life. Do you understand? Some of the things you see me doing now, I have it figured out, I have it structured out, even though sometimes it might never be clear to you. You just need to get started. And once you get started, then ideas begin to come. It never gets clear from the start. But once you're able to pick, just take the first step. Okay? You might not see all the staircases as you want to climb, but just take the first step. And once you're able to take that first step, then every other thing becomes clearer. Every other thing becomes what? Clearer. And that's the power of taking decisions. And never underestimate the power of decisions. For most successful people I've seen, most of them or almost all of them learn the power of deciding what they want, and then also be able to take action as at the time they are supposed to what? Take their attention. take the action. Now let me finalize by giving you one of the quotes from Dr. Stephen Akintayo. He's always fond of saying, I read in one of his books, and I've heard him say several times, that your habits determine your decisions, and your decisions determine your destiny. Your habits, your daily habits, determines your decisions, and your decisions also determine your destiny. For most of you, you only think that it is God that decides for you who you become and whatever you are supposed to be doing in this life. I know that this I'm saying right now might not go down so well with most religious people, but I am telling you that you have a lot of role to play in carving out your destiny. That destiny that you think God writes for you, you have a role to play. Just imagine that you want to travel somewhere now. You want to travel maybe from Abuja to Lagos, and maybe you are meant to be there, and God has already written that you are supposed to be in Lagos, and all you do is to sit right there at your house and sleep. Then tell me, how can God take you there? It's never gonna be possible. You have to go out there. You have to go to the park, get a cab, get your money, transportation fare, enter the car, and then drive yourself there, or you drive your personal car there, right? So you drive until you get there, or you fly if you have the means to fly. So once you get there, it can now mean that your destiny was actually to be there, and then you're able to drive yourself there. You can see that God has no business in driving you there. God is not your driver. You need to get, either you are the driver, or you need to use the commercial car, or you need to use the airplane. You can see with this simple example, you understand that even though destiny wanted you to be in Lagos, but you have to push yourself there. Now, for most of us, what you are probably doing as you are looking at the destiny that God has for you is that you are waiting for that same God to come and do it, to come and carve the destiny and give it to you at the platter of gold. God never promised you that. But what God has promised you is that all the resources you need to get there is available at your disposal if you know where and how to get it. And then that where and how to get it, demand that you decide, because you can't really go for what you don't know. You want to go to, I want to go to Lagos now. I mentioned I want to go to Lagos, right? So you want to go to where you don't know. Then probably how can even God help you to get there where you yourself you don't know? So you see, that's the problem. Now, if you don't get anything out of this conversation today, understand that there is a huge power that is hidden in what? In decision making. Just decide. At times it might look like it's not possible. At times it might look tough. It might look like it's not clear. But what matters most is that just decide. Decide, this is what I want. So once you make that decision, the universe has a way of conniving to bring the answers that you need to get it done. It has a way of helping you. Most times you see that they say the successful people are doing this, they are doing this, they are doing that. Most times it's not even them that, okay, let me give you an example. I love to talk about like very dark man in my country, Nigeria. This guy, I know a lot of you know him. If you are not even in my country, just go and browse. Very dark man. The guy came online some time ago, and then he began to help people, fight for the less privileged, those who are cheated, and then he began to fight for their rights, right? So as at the time he came, probably nobody knows him. He doesn't know anybody. Some of you might be wondering, how does he get some information, where he gets connected to people, and how? Because most times you find out that informations have a way of figuring out how to get to him. Sometimes when he's in trouble or he's trying to figure out how to fight a particular person, those tyrants that might be cheating others, you find out that the other persons that person probably have cheated in the past will come to his DM and begin to narrate, okay, if it's this social person, I have this evidence against him. If it's this social person, I have this evidence against him. And they begin to supply it to him, and then he uses this to fight those people, and he almost always win his cases. I don't know if you notice that. So how does it happen? He decided what he wanted to do, and the universe begin to support him to do it. Just look at recently, I think this is day 5 of him announcing that he wants to start an NGO. But I tell you, today already he has gathered up to 172 million as at the last time I checked. That people are sending to him. A particular person sent 100 million to his account, that he was shocked. Like I tell you, see, there's power in deciding what that particular idea you have that you are not deciding on. They have 101 million persons waiting for you to support you, but because you were not deciding, you are not really taking that decision. So what happens? Yourself, you are not even confident. So because the truth is, you can't do it alone. Most of the decisions you are supposed to take, most of the things you are supposed to decide on, is not your job to do alone. It's just that God has put that initiative in you. God has put in that idea in you, and for you to decide. And once you decide, people now come and say, okay, let us see how we can do it. For most of the successful people I have known, they have this way of having the universe or the people to support them to achieving their aim. It's never your job to do alone. That decision you are not taking, that you are thinking you can't do it, is actually not your decision to take alone, but it starts from you. It's actually not in your power to achieve all of that decision, but it starts from you. The vision is yours and you are in charge. You are the master. It only takes you voicing it out, deciding that you want to do it, and you have other people come supporting you, either with their wealth, either with their brain, either with their time, so that you can achieve it. You can see the importance of deciding what exactly you want and going after it. If you never decide to do anything, nothing gets done at all. There's nothing that you are going to achieve if you have not decided to do it. Just look at, even if it's a house you want to build, you need to decide first, how does the house look like? You decide. There's a lot of things you need to decide. How many bedrooms do I need? How much do I need? Where do I get this money? These are decisions around decisions, and that's life. You actually cannot sit back and expect life to just happen. You need to decide. The power of decision. Just like I've said earlier, just look around you. Whosoever that you've seen that is successful has mastered the art of taking decisions. And let me tell you the reverse of it. Even if you didn't master the art of deciding what you want, life will decide for you. And guess what? Most people that cannot decide what they want to do and are not able to do anything for themselves, life actually decides for you what you would not want. Because I noticed that until you can decide what you want, then whatever thing you are going to be getting is not what you want. I don't know if you are following. So I don't know if I've done justice to this topic. Like I said, most of this topic at times is when I'm even done talking here that many things will begin to come to my head. And this is a live session, and we're going to continue like this until we get better. I'm not a fan of holding things to talk each time I want to talk. Like I said, it's one of you of developing myself, getting myself ready, and making sure that I'm ready to face this journey. For the success, we are definitely gonna get it, right? So if you are watching me for the first time, consider following our page, consider subscribing to our channel, and until tomorrow again, see you. Bye bye.